Alright, welcome back to the Fortress of Solitude. We're going to continue with this clutch business here. Now you got to get this cover off the basket so you can actually get at the clutch plates. So yeah, you can use this EBC tool, which, I don't know, maybe somebody with more dexterity. But you would put it on there, and then you can try using your socket or a breaker bar like we tried to budge that bolt in the center. Yep, but it didn't work. So we're going to use a better tool, and a tool everybody should have. An official Kawasaki impact wrench. Yay! Alright, now I know you're saying, hey, that wrench is a piece of shit. Not really. It's inexpensive. This isn't a professional shop here. So, you know, for the occasional times I need it, it's fine. It just plugs in the wall. It'll do 220 pounds of torque, so it'll bust rusted lug nuts off your car too. I also got a set of Tecton deep socket impact wrench sockets here. It's metric. I think it starts at like 10, goes all the way up to like 20 something. Not that expensive, and it'll be fine for anything we're going to do. Alright, so yeah, the Kawasaki impact wrench, you can get that on Amazon or someplace else. I just thought it was funny because it's Kawasaki branded, so it's made in China like a bunch of others. Anyways, so if we try to take this off of here with the spring retaining plate on there, behind those 4 bolts you see are the actual clutch springs. We're going to see what happens here. Woo! Got to reverse and forward. Look at that. And it's not going to fit. Okay. So we'll actually have to take those bolts out, those 4 bolts you see. They're 10 millimeter. Now this, I've already done it here. That plate that they run through is under spring pressure. One of those bolts, there's a spring under each one. So you just want to loosen them up in like a crisscross pattern here till you get them all. And as they start to loosen, the plate will actually push outwards because of the spring. So it won't be until the very end that they're actually pretty loose and come off all the way. It's not going to fly at you or anything, but once you get it off, it's just a plate. You got the 4 bolts, and there's 4 springs there, which we're going to replace with the ones from our clutch kit. All right, through the power of editing, this is what you'll see. All right, that plate comes off. The 4 bolts ran through it, and here's your clutch springs. Okay. Now that whole thing there is not going to come off. Okay. Some people think you can just lift that off and whatever, but it won't come off till we get that center bolt out. All right, we're going to take our impact wrench and we're going to use it on reverse, and this little sucker's going to come right out. Yeah, it sounds like a real garage with that thing going. There it is. So that's a 14 millimeter bolt that holds the whole shebang together. Get a good look at it. You won't see it like that unless you get the right tools to get it out. It really was a pain in the butt. Alright, so now this is going to lift out. Alright, now it's keyed in the center, and on the back of it is going to be a washer probably stuck to it. Okay, don't lose that washer. You're going to need that to put it back together. I believe officially it's called a spacer, but it looks like a washer to me. Alright, now you can see the grooves on the side of that, and they will fit into grooves on the actual basket itself. But there's I'm pulling out the plates here, and wow, look how burnt up and crapped up that is. That's a friction plate. It should not look like that. Looks like it's been through like a house fire. Okay, that little sucker there, that is technically a spring, not a plate. It's a piece of metal. We're not going to reuse those when we put in the replacement clutch. But I'll talk about that later in the next video. So as you pull these out, stack them face down the way you pulled them out. Okay, on like a shop towel or something, just so you have them for reference to look at. Okay, when you put the plates back in, we're going to start with a friction plate, then a steel plate, and a friction plate. We're going to alternate. Okay, and we'll share that in the video. That was a steel plate. That looks all burnt up too. It gets better. All right, that's another one. Yeah, sorry, I hit that thing. Too much caffeine. All right. Another one. It should be the last friction plate. That looks burnt to hell. We got a steel plate. Oh, no, not the last one. Okay. One more to go. All right. Now, this thing I'm pulling out next, this is called the spring holder. Okay. And unfortunately, in looking at this, mine is actually heat distorted and cracked. Yeah, it goes right back on like that, dummy. All right, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm messing around with this thing. But I'll try to give you a close-up of this. We'll see how blurry it gets. All right, here's some semi-close-ups. You can kind of see that the metal's looking kind of burned up. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, but on that back surface of it, around the edge of the bevel, it's cracked, and around the outer rim of it, there's actually heat distortion, like the metal's all goofed up. Now the basket itself looks fine, so I don't have to replace that. Unfortunately, I now have to order that part, which is called a spring retainer, and I just ordered a couple other things for good measure, but they're on back order until July 8th, and then my expected arrival time here is July 12th. So looks like no Green Fury for this weekend. Probably no Green Fury for the weekend after that, which is really a pain in the butt. But it is what it is. I mean, I abused the living hell out of this this clutch, and I probably should have changed it earlier, and it probably wouldn't have got all burnt up. But then again, if you've seen the Assault on Derp Hill video, I'm betting a lot of that burned up stuff happened on that, because I was just revving the piss out of it, and with, you know, the back wheel not turning, it was ridiculous. So yeah, don't do that to your bike, any bike. It'll get all dicked up like this. All right, so that's it for now, but that basically covers, you know, getting the clutch apart, pulling the plates out. Next time when the parts come in, we'll proceed with putting the plates in from the replacement clutch. I actually got the Barnett clutch, came in with Kevlar plates, so I'm going to use that. We'll discuss those special springs, the little thin metal rings, what they are, and we'll put everything back together. Should have everything here. But until then, that's a piece of crap. No fault of the bike. Just got to wait for parts. All right, I'll check you next time.